Alright guys, we're gonna resume the Saturday training session with design. Guys,
everyone!
Alright. Yeah, so yeah, we're gonna continue with design, and then that's going on until 11 a.m. So that way you have an app that's actually useful and you understand that question. Yeah. And yeah, so then we're going to cover development starting 11 a.m. and by that I mean programming. So we begin the programming session at 11 a.m. and we'll have free pizza, and we'll also be going around and making sure that each and every one of you understands how to code the app and how to develop it and how to have that on your computer. So you can leave here today with actually knowing how to not only build an app, but build a useful app. And that's what we're trying to accomplish today. So, carry on.
All right. Hello again. Long time no see. So, we're going to go over first, because I want to use these blackboards. I'm going to show you this first. But this isn't something we're going to do till like after we get all of our ideas down on paper. But what we're going to do is we're going to do magic time. Also, I'm not going to do like nice PowerPoint, read these things. We're just going to jump right into it. So magic time is something we're going to do in a second. It's basically a brainstorming period for those of you who didn't go to orientation. That's normally part of needs analysis. Once you've done all the analyzing of needs, you just start brainstorming. And then once you have all those ideas, you go and start designing. But we're going to do that as part of this just for time's sake. So before we do that, I want to show you just some general components that you can put into an app. I'm not showing you how to program anything. Don't worry, like, you don't need your laptops out. But I just want to show you some of the components of an app that you probably would come in contact with at some point if you have an iPhone. If you don't, there's probably similar things on Android. So here's your navigation controller. Don't worry about that. That's for programming's sake, not exactly storyboard sake. There's a couple different types of views when you're designing. So table view is like this right here, these cells. So you can have this go to another page, and this go to another page, and this go to another page. So that's a table view. This is just a normal view, so this is where, if you want to have buttons and stuff, this is probably what you're using. This is what the app I developed last year was, mostly view controllers. So I'm just going to show you, so here's a label. This isn't something, this is just like no button, no nothing, it's just a label. Over here, everyone see my little arrow moving all around? Cursor, that's what it's called. Can I read this? Should I just close it?
No, this one.
Not this one? This one?
Yes.
Okay. So when you're programming, there's a lot of objects you're going to use. I'm just going to show you some ones that we need to have in mind when we're designing. So you've got your label, round rectangle button, it's a button. You can, once you do graphic design, you can change what that looks like when you put the images in. Oh my god, you need to not be in that corner of my computer. Alright, segmented control. You can have multiple segments. Alright, text field. So if you want to have editable text. Slider. All of these fun things. Switch. See how beautiful this is? It's just drag and drop. Xcode is like the easiest thing ever. So you have to write code. They're going to teach you how to do that, so it'll be fun. Progress view. So this is like, for instance, if you had a game and you wanted them to be like getting points accumulated, that would be something like that. So these are table cells. So you can obviously like choose how many cells you want in here. So you just drag in another one of those cells. What else? For programming sake, there's different views you need if you want to put an image in versus a lot of text versus a website versus a map. versus something that scrolls. Those are all things that they can move over. A date picker. I love this one. It's so fun to play with. There's that. I should probably not put that.
Giant.
It is giant. It takes up. It's well because it's like the same size as a keyboard, so it takes up a lot of the screen. Everyone keep that in mind. If that's a possibility, I'm gonna delete now so you can see the things. Picker view, which is basically the same kind of scroll, but is not a date. It's like things that you would actually put in there. What else? That's good for now. Those are just some. Oh, and then there's like navigation bar stuff. It has like buttons. And that just disappeared, but there could be a navigation item there if I was. Alright, yeah. Also, another type of app you can have if you don't want like buttons going to other pages, like hit a button that takes you to the next page. You can have a tabbed view. So that is when you have this at the bottom, and you can have like multiple. You can have like 4 or 5 tabs here. So that's like if you've ever used like the iPhone clock app, where there's like world clock, stopwatch, all those things. Although I don't have iOS 7, I think it changed, maybe, possibly, but once upon a time, that's what it looked like. That's what that is. Okay, so those are just some general things. Also, like obviously, like a keyboard. There's a help button somewhere around here. I didn't see it, but.
So if you have any time outside where you're just kind of exploring things, or if you're designing and kind of struggling, it's usually a help to just go through this object library, just kind of scroll through it, get some ideas from that where, oh, I could use this to get from this page to this page, or use this to keep track of time. It just kind of helps you in planning things out, and staying organized.
Okay, so those are like some general objects, components that you can put into an app. All right, now we're gonna go flip the screen and you go forward. You want this up and off.
Oh.
Everywhere. All right. So magic time. This is gonna be magical or not, depending on how badly you guys want starbursts. So this is brainstorming period. You can throw out something as crazy as you want, as normal and boring as you want. Like, oh, it should have a clock. But no, if you want to have a clock in it, by all means, please throw that out there. So if there's, you can say something that's like absolutely not possible for an app to do. So Brian always uses the example. Let's make it, make us fly. Like you can't actually do that in case you haven't taken physics yet and don't know that. You can't fly. But then that'll help us with further brainstorming. So throw anything out there. Remember what we did in needs analysis. So what does she want? She wants it to be anonymous. She needs it to be censored. She wants it to send emails. They should be short. This is to connect with military personnel. She wants it to educate. Some of you said that it'd be really cool to have maps on it. Oh, it's over here. She doesn't have any money, and she's having a hard time with advertising. It's for 16 to 35-year-olds for the most part, but also parents of people, so it should be still easy to use. What else? And then remember our case scenario. So how is this person feeling? That's going to help you brainstorm. Use that as well. We're going to start taking ideas, and Brian's going to throw starbursts at your faces.
Hold on, before we start, I just want to say one other thing. So when someone throws out a completely ridiculous idea, like, I want this to be able to fly, the idea behind this is that from the ridiculous ideas, you realize that you could do certain things with this app that are actually plausible. So if someone's saying, oh, I want this app to let you be able to fly, and say it's a bird watching app, then someone else can say, oh, well, we can add a GPS that'll track birds that are tagged, so it'll be like you're flying. So when someone throws out something ridiculous, don't be afraid to add to it something more plausible or something more ridiculous.
Since your name is first name. Gross. All right, so now it got darker. Beautiful. Next time. They're warm enough. I'm trying to get light on this one. There we go. All right, go.
The colors should be like a red, white, and blue theme.
Okay.
Nice.
I can't eat these.
I'm giving you so many.
Yeah, you
Over there.
Be able to attach voice recordings, videos, or photographs to your emails.
I was thinking fight for them.
Fight for them. Okay.
Fight for
The soldiers.
Oh, okay. I like it.
When you send your message, there should be like a header or a preface that explains why they're getting this email and what service this is.
So to the
Basically, so,
serviceman.
yeah, so it's not just like the email. So it says like this is from a service called Red, White, and Blue, and this is just a message that some anonymous person wanted to send to you.
Okay.
Whenever it sends the user who's sending the email, it shouldn't just say like, oh, the email's been sent to you, like, you're awesome, you did this. So like kind of like a feel good. Yeah, that's good to say that.
All right, so that would come up probably in an alert box, like an alert text box. That's why I wrote alert there.
If your message is read or not.
Actually, right, yeah.
It lets you share with social media that you like sent it to the soldiers so they can be inspired to try and do the same thing.
Like it. Sorry, I'm trying to give other people a chance.
Yeah.
You will see where your message is in the note.
I like that.
You've done that.
Go ahead.
And then you choose where your message goes in the world.
Choose.
Going off the idea.
1 second. I told her I'd go with her next. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe have a tab like a bit with a clock, but like do the time difference or like what time it is, like wherever they are.
I was thinking that would probably try to have it so that the people in the military can also have the app and make their own.
Did you have one before I cut you off before?
Like make it a game. Like you give a little bit of like information about where the PR military station, like geography. Yeah, I can't say words. But like make it a guessing game, and you have to click a country around the world, and maybe they learn a little bit about that country or why we're in that country.
Okay.
If we have like a loading screen or like while the email is sending, you can, throw the fact out so they can read it. I mean, the user.
All right, something crazy.
You can do yours. Then
Or yours. That's fine. So.
Well, then I have like a thumbs up and thumbs down button for the emails, and the ones that get a lot of thumbs up have like a leaderboard type page.
For
Most popular.
For the user or for the person
Or,
reading?
like the person that reads it, they do a thumbs up, and it gets sent around to another person like
Okay.
in the military.
All right, I'm just gonna throw something in real quick because none of you guys have explicitly said this, but you're all like on the edge. Maybe we need a user profile if people are gonna be like thumbs upping and downing people's messages and like seeing where it went and sharing on Facebook and alerting you of where your message went. Maybe a user profile would be good.
You just go back to Facebook.
What?
Just go back.
Just connect to Facebook? Okay.
At some point, I think the user profile would be good because I want to connect face to face, but
Yeah.
we have the option.
It wouldn't be anonymous either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so this is something you guys don't know because you didn't work with her, but it doesn't have to be anonymous for people using the app. She wanted it to be anonymous. Like, Brian's in the military. I can't email Brian and be like, my name's Jane. I really like what you're doing. Email me back. That's what she meant by anonymous. Like, she didn't want the soldiers to know who we're sending stuff. But user profile could also be anonymous. What else? Yeah.
Maybe it's like instead of a like button, it's
since like when they see the message, they like salute you. So it's like salute. And then you no, but it's like so you know that they read your message, and if they really liked it, they like let you know.
Is that other users doing that, or like the
No, like the
military?
soldiers, so like that's their only response they gave. Like
Okay.
So that's the one interaction. If that's possible.
I think it should have military-based emoticons.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think we mentioned before a gallery of sent messages to be seen by other users.
Yep.
Also, guys, don't forget to look back to the original goals, see if there's anything we're missing in there, original problems, original what she wants from the app, as well as the emotions of Bruce Wayne.
Maybe like going off like a game idea, like we have certain structures of messages, so people get creative with their like variations. Like make one that's a rhyme, make one that's a description or something.
So like challenges to make different apps.
Like or maybe daily challenges, so people return every day.
They could have a character limit because they only want short messages.
Like
For the challenges, maybe have it so randomly there's prizes awarded for them, like actual prizes, like cash prizes or gift card or something, so people want to come back just in case maybe that day.
Oh right, that was one of her goals. Yeah. So remember the incentives for this. I mean, you can keep doing other ideas, but thank you for bringing this back up because that was a goal of hers. Yeah.
Or you could have like not real prizes, but like badges, like every company.
Okay. Yep.
And it could be like military badges. You could give back to them.
Yeah.
Have the option to maybe, like, when you're typing a message to either select or check it to be private, in that case it just gets sent to the military person. Or if you don't check it to be private, it gets it gets published to like a page or something in your app, and other people can view it and comment or rate it up or down.
Okay.
Yeah.
How like what we were saying, like how does it work? Like if the machine was military, like how would you have to like your military website, I guess, so but it would have to be great.
So I'm gonna say USO because that's the military organization that Casey's most familiar with. So I'm gonna do USO. Yeah.
Maybe points or like badges for doing something in the application part as well as sending messages.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe to have something to show that the user's nearby, like close by, so that you know that there's somebody else using the same app as you.
Maybe there will be a function that if I send a message to my brother, and it will automatically take on the camera to record the expression and the face of my brother and send back that picture. So and I will know what they will do.
So as soon as the person opening it records it, takes a picture.
Yeah.
Or as soon as they read it.
That's a weird ass Snapchat right there.
That's good though. I like that idea.
Alright. Now we do have to remember that these are supposed to be anonymous, so technically you're not supposed to be able to send this to your brother, but we're still writing it down because that's really cool. I like that idea. Also, yeah.
A counter for how many messages sent?
Counter. Also, something that nobody's mentioned, but remember, she wanted it to be censored. So anyone have any ideas? Censorship. Does everybody know what I mean by censorship? Like, she wanted it so that you can't swear, you can't write something, like you can't write hate mail, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Maybe you could like have like each message scanned and you could try to look at what particular words.
Okay, so like a computer program that does that?
Yeah.
Maybe you get like a group of like moderators, and like it goes to them before it gets sent to the actual soldier.
Yeah.
Would like everybody be a moderator for like a random one?
Yeah.
A spell checker just for the actual message. So that
I would like that.
That's a beautiful thing about iPhones.
You got your hand up for a while.
Maybe you have the option to like send $1 to charity.
Send $1 to charity. Or even to her organization. Donate to her organization.
Okay. I think that's pretty good.
I was going to go for 7 more seconds, so that's perfect. Yeah, 7 seconds, go.
Oh, I was going to say, add the ability to report a user for
Report a user. Beautiful. All right. Okay, so some of those are exactly what we did. I'm going to show you guys our app at the end. Not the one that's on Xcode, because that one doesn't have graphics in it, but the one that's on PowerPoint, so that you can see what we came up with. But we're going to make our own today. So, but like, I was very excited when some people said some things like the badges thing, and I was like, yes, yeah, we did that. All right. So those are our ideas. So now we move on to 3 W's for designing. Whiteboards, wireframes, and write-ups. We're going to go through whiteboards pretty quickly just because we have 20 minutes. And I really want to get to balsamic because that's probably the most important part of what you learned today. So what all of those are is whiteboards. You sketch everything out. You turn all of your ideas into actual things. You decide which ones you're going to keep, which ones you're going to get rid of. Wireframing, you sketch out the app so you can show where all the buttons are going to go, and then write up is when you make it beautiful. Okay. Yes. So, does anyone show me? Okay. All right. If we had more time, you guys could come up and like sketch stuff out, but we're just going to get through this. So, whiteboarding. We're blackboarding today. Normally we work in different rooms that have whiteboards, so that we have extra markers. But this is going to be blackboarding. So, let's talk about, organize some of these ideas. I know the glare is pretty bad. Maybe I should move this out a little bit so you guys can read it better. Is that better? Is the glare better? Yeah? Okay. So, down here I will write like what we're going to actually turn these into. So, we're trying to think now, put your mindset in like what pages we want to have. First of all, should this be tabbed? So that's what I showed you where there's like 4 buttons like on the iPhone clock. Is this something that we want to have the navigation be more along the lines of you hit a button which takes you to the next screen? Raise your hands if you want tabbed. Raise your hands if you want buttons going from page to page. All right, looks like we're going to try tab for this one. We're going to tab. Now the thing is, once we get going, you might change your mind. You might decide that something's going to work better. So that's fine too.
Also, one quick thing. Do we want it to be for phones, for tablets, or for both?
Just remember when we say both, that means you have to code. Or, so. Phones? Okay. Better plan. Yeah, so that's one thing. You have to remember, like, you can update this. Like, once you make the first app and you publish it to the App Store, you can do updates and add things. So a lot of times, what we do is we'll design either an iPad or an iPhone app, depending on what the client like really needs. And then from there, you can move on to like also make whatever you didn't make before a separate app. But it's easier usually just to start off with one. Okay, phones. Do we want? Okay, so now let's see. So we've got a bunch of like different things that are kind of all in themes. Not all of them, but some of them are in themes. So we're trying to identify like different pages that we want. So obviously we're going to have one that's a messenger, right? To actually like send the messages. But what else from here do you think? Does anyone have any ideas of like what another page might be? That would be good. Yeah.
The profile.
Profile page. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Info page.
Info page. What does the info page have on it? Is it like education stuff or is it like about us?
Education.
Okay.
what not to do in the info page.
So if this is going to be about education, maybe a different page for like rules and stuff, or even maybe like help page, so it like teaches you how to use the app, tutorial or of some sort. Yeah.
Are the published posts part of the messenger or?
Nope. Yeah.
For the links and sponsors page.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Would we have like a separate page for leaderboards?
Sure. Wow, that was really yeah.
Login page.
What page?
Login page.
Login. Okay, good. Anyone else have anything? Did you have your yours? Maybe? No? Okay. Alright, okay, so that looks really good. So here's the pages we have right now. Does this look like something that you can fit on a tab?
No.
Yes, no. No. Yes. Yes? No. Okay. There we go. Alright, so that's why I was like, okay, tab, let's go for it. Yeah, so tab is usually like 4, maybe 5 buttons down here. So those are for things that are a little bit clearer. Like we have this goal, and this goal, and this goal, and that's it. When we did our needs analysis last year, which was it was not developed the way it is now. That was one of the first things we thought is we thought tab would be easier. One of the developers on our team had already made a tabbed app, and he was like, yeah, let's do tab, let's do tab. But we kind of figured out that the goals of this app are really too big for tab. So what we're going to do from there is, I should put this on backward. So I can't get rid of it. Okay, whatever. We're going to start drawing out pages. Can I erase one of these? Oh, that's beautiful. Do I have one of those? Oh, I can just push this down. I didn't realize I could do that. Beautiful. All right, we'll bring this back up if we need more ideas, but right now we're going to put it down so that you can look at this. This is what all right, so we're going to start sketching out what each of these pages is going to look like now and decide what should be on each page. So let's start with, okay, so one thing that's not on here, it's kind of on here with login page, but if you're not going to do a tab page, you usually want a home screen. So the login can be like a alert box that just pops up, and then you type in your name, and then that disappears and you're on your home screen. So let's do that first. That's pretty easy, usually, hopefully. Go. What do we need on the home screen? So this is what her logo looks like. It has words in it. I'm not going to write them. But that's what, there you go. Logo. What else? Okay.
Buttons that lead to the other pages.
Okay, so specifically, what buttons do we need? Messenger. Keep going.
Posts.
Posts. What? Moderation? Someone say moderation? Donation? What did you say? What was that? News?
I also think if we can combine some of these to make it more simple.
So there's not like 1,000
Make it less
buttons on
crowded.
the page. Yeah. Oh, we are. Okay. All right. So that looks leaderboards up there too. Okay. So now we're gonna think user friendly. What's gonna be the easiest on this page? Like, what are gonna be the most important buttons, the biggest buttons?
What if we had like a connect button and
once you press that, you get like a messenger or like recent posts in it.
Okay.
So like it takes you to a different page, I guess.
Okay.
So that should like intuitive.
So you make the connect button, and then what happens?
And then it takes you to a page where you choose either text something like write a message or review your recent posts or
Okay.
like post files.
So do you think that would be, so here's an idea. So what he just said for anyone who didn't hear was that you could have a connect button where once you hit that, you have two options. You can either write a message or you can read your messages, like the ones that you've recently sent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one idea. You could also put, if you're going to have this post page, you can have the post there. If you have a profile page, you can put your own messages in that profile page. So there's like a lot of different things you can do with that. Does anyone have any? Yeah.
I think since the messenger is like the main, most important thing in the whole app, that we should keep it separate from other stuff. Like maybe the top button would be messenger.
Okay.
And then if we combine things, we could possibly combine your profile with posts you've done with like leaderboard, like stuff to do with the users.
Okay. Okay. What else? Yeah.
Help and news and donations could just be in like a general more tab instead of all having
So
their own
more.
separate one.
Extras, right?
Fun stuff.
That could be donations. That could be news. And what was the last one you said?
Help.
Help. Okay. Just because what? Okay, sorry. Just because help is like something the first time the user gets the app, they don't know what they're doing. I'm not gonna put help in extras because that's like you have to hit a button just to find out. You know what I mean? A lot of times what apps do with help is they just put a little question mark right up in the corner, and there's your help button. Everybody pretty much understands that when you open an app, you see a question mark button. But I like the extras. Yeah.
I know, like the first time you open it, it will just guide you through the app, so you don't actually use it. The user should be able to like customize how he wants the buttons. So like you go to settings and you pick whichever buttons you want on the main screen or whatever you want on the extras.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna rush through this because we have 8 minutes and I want to get to balsamic and show you what that is. But so you get the general idea. You usually also spend a lot more than an hour doing this. But you're gonna, when you're doing all the whiteboards, you're gonna draw all these out. You're gonna say, oh, we should have a button here, here's our extras button, blah, blah, blah. And then draw another one, which is the next page. So if you have messenger here, messenger. And then you kind of sketch out what you want on the messenger. Here's your huge text box. Here's where your keyboard's going to pop up with all your buttons on it. And get to it from there. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Can we turn this back on?
Oh, no,
Okay. So now, this is kind of a combination. Wireframing, you can just sketch all that out pretty and have like the flow of it shown. So like you put a number on every button and then you have a page like on the right hand side that says number 1 is this button. It's going to send you to this page. But another great thing that you can do is use balsamic.
While she's logging into that, one thing I do want to say is that don't forget the crazy, interesting ideas that you come up with for the app, like the whole GPS feature of knowing exactly where you sent it, or the whole taking a picture of whoever you sent it of. Don't lose track of those things. Always keep remembering them, because those could turn into things that people will love about this app. Like I personally, the GPS I think is a great idea, and I would love to see that in there. So when you're going through this design, add those things in. If they don't work out when you present this design to your company, that's okay. You can just get rid of them. But if you have them in there, they'll see them and they'll either say, "Oh wow, this is awesome," or "Oh no, that won't really work." So just don't be afraid to throw interesting things out to the companies that you're not overly confident with. because it also might give them an idea of how to use them in a different way that'll work really well for the app.
Okay. So this is a software called Balsamic. Well, I don't think you have to pay for it. It's free, right? It's free. Everyone should get a username at some point if they're doing design. Or you can just screw around because it's fun. So I'm going to add a new mockup. What this software does is it basically gives you a vast majority of the things that you would use in an app that are like they're already all sketched out for you. So if this loads.
Yeah, actually Balsamic is not free. It's free for us because we're doing this for educational purposes. And you're gonna have to, I'm gonna have everyone who gives me their email, we're gonna add you to Balsamic. That's the tool you use for design of the app. And the design is actually worth a few $1,000s, so for any app, because there's so much time that's invested in the coding, so this is very important. More important than you think.
Alright, well. It's probably, you know what, it's probably going to have this one. Sorry, people. Okay. All right. So when you're using this,
Smell these beautiful things. They're right there. You don't have to draw anything out.
So once you've like kind of sketched out on your whiteboard everything you want, you can come onto this and zoom out. Oh, that's not what I want. Okay, and then just put stuff in your iPhone. So there's all these different things that you can see at the top, like throw in there. Most of these are like already sized to what they would, like what the size would be on an iPhone. There's a help button, look how cute it is. So all this stuff. So for example, let's do the messenger. Throw that in there. There's your keyboard. And then maybe go up here, go to text, and put in a text area. Here, soldier. Oh, I'm not allowed to say soldier. Military personnel.
Maybe that's something you can add in that you can pick.
What?
Maybe that's something you can add in. You can pick which branch of the military you get sent to.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not gonna write that down,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's a good idea. That's something we're working on as well. So yeah, so you can do this and then throw in a bunch of iPhones, and you show the flow of all the pages. It's really easy. It's just drag and drop, and you can change settings. You can't. So far, we haven't put any like colors or graphics into Balsamic. Tim, do you know if you can? Yeah. Okay. We're not sure if you can do that, but the point of this is more just so you can have a digital copy, very easy. Like you've got all the sizing already up there. Format for this. So then you do all your phones, and then your group all works on that. That's wireframing. Once you have this all done, you can give it to the programmers. Beautiful.
Well, before you give it to the programmers,
Oh,
once
yes.
you have
Okay.
this completed,
Yes, so once you have this completed, you go to your client with your graphic designers. So whoever was working on this, they're the UX, this is called UX design. So you do the UX designers and the graphic designers have a meeting with the client. And they say, this is what our app looks like. Do you like it? Do you dislike it? This is how you use it. What do you need? And they tell you what, they give you any feedback, and then you incorporate it in there, and you give it to the programmers. You can, since this is a wireframe, you can give this to programmers and they can start working on stuff, and then change things if they need to, based on what the client has told you, because the client is probably not going to make you scrap all that. Another thing you can do is like take this and put more, like try to put more like graphics in it, not like full out graphic design, but kind of like what the idea of your graphic designers might be starting to brainstorm. Put that in there and show that to your client. It's really based on your team's personal preference.
Make sure you go into the meeting with your client with an open mind. You've worked hard on this, but if it's not what they want, then you're gonna have to redo some things. So really, this is never gonna be your final design. There's always gonna be things that you're gonna have to change, you're gonna have to alter, maybe take things out, maybe add up new things. So just really never go in thinking this is gonna be the app, you're gonna like this. Well, you want them to like it, but never think that it's the final design.
All right, so now just because you guys have put so much brainstorming into the red, white, and blue app, we're going to show you what we did last year. This is the PowerPoint that I made for it. This is the PowerPoint I made for it, so it feels like you're using it. Okay, so here's the icon.
Wow, it's so high def compared to that.
So there's your login screen. This is the first time we registered. Put all your stuff in there. You can't type anything in this because this is just PowerPoint. I don't know how to do that in PowerPoint, but you can see the navigation. And then here's our help button. There's a whole tutorial. I'm not going to go through it. And then this is our messenger page. We had a learn more button on there, so if you wanted to learn more. Right now there's just an About Us page, but Casey, who's our client, she put in a lot of information about the military. We didn't have to research that, she gave us. So when someone said, I think did you say moderation? Everyone should moderate? So what we thought of was a rating system. So you get a message, you rate it up to 5 stars. 3 people rate it. When 3 people have rated it, if it's above a 3-star average, then it gets sent. If it's below a 3-star average, there's probably something, it's either really bad, shitty quality, or it's just like inappropriate. So then we wouldn't get that one sent out. And you can, if you're confused, you can skip it and go to a different one.
And we had that as well as a automatic screening for swears.
Also, there was an automatic censorship for any like cuss words or the word hate. Yeah, something like that.
How do you deal with it if someone actually just intentionally rate them 1 star?
So that's something that we knew might be a problem. But that's why we have 3 people moderating instead of 1. The hope is that, the majority of the time that's not going to happen if they're with an average of just having to get 3 stars. So, we have profile page where you earn badges. Well, I don't remember who said that, but it was you. Oh, yeah. I was so happy. So yeah, this was a badge system. We had both in-app and real incentives. So in-app was you could change the background of what your all the different skins for your app. So instead of this being a red, white, and blue theme, you can have a camouflage theme or a flowers theme, really anything you wanted. So those were in-app incentives, and then out-of-app incentives like the Target gift card. Yeah.
Did users ever encounter the same message twice when they were
Yeah. And then we had promotion status, so you could get a rank up. So you start out as a private. Oh wow! What just... All right.
Also, another thing that's important in design that we didn't really mention before is that it's very valuable to look at other apps that are similar to what you want to make. So Jane always likes to say for this app, there's a combination of Fruit Ninja,
and Draw Something,
and Call of Duty. the whole point system was based on like, oh, you wrote this many, you get a promotion. You wrote and rated this many, you get a promotion, and you're now an admiral, whatnot. So, very valuable. Look at other apps, see what they've done really well, see what they could use improvement on, things like that.
Yeah, so then since other people were moderating your messages, we kept track of what the ratings were. So then we had the 3 highest rated, like your 3 best messages would stay on your profile, and other people could check out your profile. So you could read that. And then the message history was part of the profile page. And you could click on those too. And then we had status, so either pending or approved, or it would have also said denied, but I didn't know this was a good user. They didn't put any of their messages denied. And then we had a leaderboard based on most active versus, well, you can rate all those things. The leaderboard was much prettier in reality. I just threw this together for the PowerPoint. And then info, rewards, and the rewards. So this was like legit straight out of Fruit Ninja. I don't know if anybody plays Fruit Ninja. I was addicted for like 2 years. And this just like scrolls through all of them, and then when you click on one, it tells you like what the reward is, what it's called, and then all the rewards that you gained, and then how you have to get it, and then all the rewards that you gained went on your profile page. Yeah, that's that. Good job, everyone. Some of you, we would love to have you. Thank you for participating.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so this is basically how you get a visualization of your ideas, and everyone had such great ideas, so I commend you on that. There wasn't a bad idea out there, and if there was, that would be okay. But there wasn't. So basically right now we're gonna pass things off to Timothy and Annie. Yeah. We are taking a break, but I'm just letting you know what you have to look forward to. And that's Annie's gonna go over some vocabulary, and then for like, we're gonna have pizza around 11:45-ish, maybe earlier, give or take 10 minutes. Yeah, so break time.